Happy Friday, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. In these next 10 minutes, we're going to break down the weather story for your Memorial Day weekend. We're also going to look ahead to hurricane season, which starts on June 1st. Let's kick things off with how humid it is outside. The elephant in the room. Dew points right now across the area at least 70 or above, which means the air feels really tropical, like you're on an island. And it's even worse the closer you get to Galveston Island, all the way up into Chambers County, right along Channel View. Dew points are in the 80s right now, which means you turn into instant sweat. That is having an impact on how hot it feels out there. So actual air temperatures right now, if you're stepping outside to have lunch, we've already climbed to 90 degrees for lots of spots. So 90 in Sugar Land right now, 90 in Tomball, 91 at Bush Airport, upper 80s Hobby, and in Conroe. What does it feel like when you do factor in the humidity? Well, it feels close to the triple digits. 98 right now for the feeling in Tomball, Sugar Land, and Bush. 97 Hobby, 96 Conroe. Not to mention, it's also the peak heating of the day right now. So from now through 2 o'clock, that's when we have the highest UV index, 11. The burn time is just 10 minutes. So do not forget your sunscreen when you step outside, and make sure that you take breaks in the shade. I'll talk about those reminders here in a second, but let's kick things up with Memorial Day weekend. It's going to feel a lot like it feels right now for your Saturday and for your Sunday. Rain chances are there, but I think they're mainly along the coastline. High temperature tomorrow, 96. High temperature on Sunday, 94. Memorial Day Monday, we increase those rain chances a little bit more, but really it's after Monday that I think we get the stormiest here in Houston. Notice still pretty hot for Monday, 93 is the high temperature. Average for this time of year should be 88 degrees. Are you going somewhere for the long holiday weekend? Panama City, beautiful place to be. Upper 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds, more sunshine on Monday. Pensacola, really similar, mid 80s for Saturday and Sunday, pushing towards the upper 80s on Monday. If you're going to New Orleans, you will be dodging a couple of passing showers tomorrow. It's going to be the same thing for Baton Rouge and Alexandria, but now fast forward that to Monday. Galveston, a mixture of sun and clouds. Temperature-wise along our coastline, we are going to be in the low 80s. Now, if you head to Corpus, you're going to be in the low 90s. Saturday, Sunday, and even into Monday, notice you will be battling with some stronger wind there as well. The breeze in Galveston is nice when you have to talk about the heat and the humidity. However, the breeze is out of the south, so it is a humid one. 15 to 20 miles an hour, that's going to be the sustained wind for this weekend. Some gusts, though, are going to get up to 30 miles an hour. And so because of that, waves are going to be a little bit taller than they typically are, 2 to 4 feet. Temperature is going to be hot out there, and so is the water temperature, 82 degrees. Visibility is going to be great, but because of the wave heights, there is a moderate rip current risk. So if you're taking your family down there to enjoy the holiday weekend, try to cool off in the water, go in with your kiddos. At the very least, don't take your eyes off of them, all right? Just practice all of the water safety this weekend and as we head into summer. Right now, radar is nice and quiet. There's a couple of pop-up isolated showers in Matagorda, and that is it. Most of the activity is offshore. I think your Friday is just hot and humid. Rain chances are pretty limited today. Find your neighborhood on the map right here. So we're looking at the Loop and the Beltway. Galena Park, 92 is going to be your high temperature today. Edo, 92. Hunters Creek, 93. We'll make it up to 94 for Acres Homes. Brookhaven, 92. 95 for Aldine. Addicts, 94. 95 degrees for Bush Intercontinental Airport in downtown Houston. Could be a record today. So that was set back in 1996. So if we do make it to 95, which I'm suspecting we will, we'll at least tie that record. If we make it to 96, we will break it. Regardless, we will feel like we are a lot hotter than that. The peak heating of the day today takes us to a feeling of 102 degrees. Like I mentioned, you don't really need to worry about a shower today. You're definitely going to feel plenty humid, though. There's a lot of moisture in the air, but that moisture doesn't give us rain chances that are considerable until we head into the work week, and that's because we'll be tracking a front that's going to scoop up the moisture and bring it back down. Until then, Saturday and Sunday, it's mainly showers that are fueled by the sea breeze. On Monday, we get a little bit more organization because of that front, so we hike up the rain chances to 40%. And then we're going to see more impulses of energy coming in next week. So a 60% chance for showers on Tuesday, then a 40% chance on Wednesday. Here's the big difference as we head into the coming week, why we're tracking a weather pattern that turns more wet. Like I mentioned, there comes the front to organize the shower activity. I think most of our Memorial Day plans are going to be okay. The shower activity is really going to favor Dallas and maybe getting down to San Antonio, clipping the northern side of our cities and counties. Now, overnight Monday into early Tuesday, that's when you'll see we've got a better chance of widespread shower activity reaching southeast Houston. And then it doesn't stop. So look at Tuesday night. That's a snapshot of 11:30. More stormy weather headed in our direction. I take you to Wednesday, you're going to see the same thing. So that's a snapshot of 4:30. More storms. Because this front digs into southeast Texas, now it switches up the weather pattern because instead of having this ridge of high pressure, now we have this trough. So the impulses, the kinks, can get here a little bit more easily than if we had this big blocking area of high pressure. So that's why we're going to see repeated rounds of shower chances as we head into next week, even all the way through Thursday. Outlook taking us through June 2nd, which, by the way, is the start of hurricane season. It's June 1st. Does give us the potential of above average rain chances. So we're going to have to be tracking our continental U.S. rain chances, and we're going to be tracking the tropics as well. So already we're taking a look at the Atlantic, and I am happy to report that for the time being, there are no storms expected to develop over the next 7 days. And this time of year, luckily, tropical activity tends to be suppressed because there is more dust coming off of the west coast of Africa. That being said, we'll have to keep a close eye on the tropics this year, as we always do, because NOAA is forecasting an above average season. So you'll notice average would be 14 named storms. They're calling for 13 to 19. Average hurricane count for a season is 7. They're thinking we'll get anywhere between 6 to 10. And of those, they're thinking 3 to 5 will be major hurricanes, so category 3 or above. They are calling for a 60% chance of an above average season. Now, this forecast isn't aggressive. And the reason being is that we're right now in what's called an ENSO neutral phase. So we're neither in a La Nina or an El Nino. So it all has to do with the water temperatures in the Pacific. So it's not too cold and not too warm there. If the Pacific starts to cool down, then we would be under a La Nina. And the impacts in the Atlantic is that the opposite happens here. So when the Pacific cools off, the Atlantic gets hotter, and then of course the Gulf gets hotter as well. And we're already seeing the Gulf temperatures showing a big departure from what's normal. So you're looking right now at the sea surface temperature anomaly. So how much warmer are we than we typically should be for this time of year? And if you see these bright orange and red spots, it means we are trending on the warmer side. So that's going to be a factor that plays heavily into storm development. Storm formation is, the spin actually getting going, usually from disturbances coming off the west coast of Africa. If those do develop, then the warm waters that we have in place would be the fuel source to sustain them, potentially tracking across the Atlantic, and we'll have to monitor if some of those make it into the Gulf. 7-day forecast for now does not include anything that we're watching in the tropics, but we're certainly looking at a lot of activity here at home locally. So you'll notice today, very warm, maybe a record-tying or record-breaking day, hot and humid through your weekend with some isolated shower chances. Then shower chances become a little bit more pronounced as we head into the work week. Memorial Day Monday, a 40% chance. I think most of your activity for Monday is going to happen later on in the day. Think after 7 p.m. and for our northern cities and counties. That's what I'm seeing so far from the models. Now, going into the coming work week, that is when you're really going to need to have your umbrellas on hand because we're tracking more storms on Tuesday, especially. I think that'll be a pretty rainy day for us. And then on and off scattered storms for your Wednesday all the way through your Thursday. Notice though that shower activity does start to drop our temperatures. We're going to go from the 90s to the upper 80s by the middle of next week. Have a wonderful holiday weekend. Stay safe and don't forget to stay hydrated.